Welcome to the Global WarWatch Network. Ukraine just revealed it expects a massive $3.5 billion fund from the U.S. to keep its fight against Russia alive. But, the big question is, will it be enough to really change the course of the war? Today, we're going to unpack the latest developments in international support for Ukraine. We'll look at both the immediate military aid and these crucial sort of longer-term economic initiatives. We'll explore the financial mechanisms keeping Ukraine in the fight right now, and also the strategic investments shaping its future.
Yeah, it's a critical moment, and what we're seeing is this quite sophisticated dual-track approach from its allies. You've got, on one hand, the International Fund for buying American weapons that's directly boosting their defense capabilities right now, but then there's this other new fund, just as significant, really, between the U.S. and Ukraine, aimed at developing Ukraine's, vital mineral sector. And these aren't just separate things. They're deeply interconnected strategies. They have broad implications for the conflict itself and, frankly, beyond.
That's a really interesting way to frame it. Okay, let's start by digging into that immediate support structure, this prioritized Ukraine requirements list, or PURL. What exactly is this mechanism? How does it actually work?
Right, PURL. It's quite a unique financial arrangement, actually. And the structure tells you a lot about, international defense cooperation right now. Basically, it's a pooling mechanism. NATO member countries, and this is key, excluding the United States itself, they contribute funds into this pot. These pooled contributions are then specifically used to buy American-made weapons, ammunition, essential equipment, all for Ukraine.
Ah, okay. So the U.S. provides its own aid separately, but this lets other allies chip in while still buying American gear.
Exactly. So while the U.S. gives huge bilateral aid, PRL lets other allies directly support Ukraine's defense, and that support flows into the U.S. defense industrial base. It's a clear sign of coordinated international support, making sure Ukraine gets the tools it needs to keep up the fight against Russia, now, in its third year?
That distinction's fascinating. Kind of a win-win, it sounds like.
Okay.
Let's talk numbers. The scale of this PURL support, what's the expected amount, and when can Ukraine actually get its hands on these funds?
Well, President Zelensky recently confirmed this. Ukraine anticipates having roughly $3.5 billion, maybe $3.6 billion, ready to go in this PURL fund by next month. That's October. Apparently, partners have already put in over $2 billion. The rest is expected pretty soon. And this funding, it's not just a number, right? It's absolutely crucial for their ongoing defense. It keeps that pipeline of critical supplies flowing as the war drags on.
Right, essential. And what specific weapons are we talking about? When you say critical list, what are the key systems this PURL money is buying?
Zelensky was specific here. He said the first shipments from PURL will definitely include missiles for the Patriot air defense systems and also munitions for the high-mobility artillery rocket systems, HIMARS.
Okay, Patriots and HIMARS ammo. Those are big ones.
Huge. They're not just any weapons. They've been, real game changers. Patriot systems, they're designed to take down advanced threats like ballistic missiles, cruise missiles. They provide that vital shield for cities, infrastructure, military sites. Their success rate, even against tough Russian attacks, makes them indispensable, really, for protecting urban centers.
Mm-hmm.
And then HIMARS, they're known for precision strikes, right? We're talking meter-level accuracy. They've been absolutely key in hitting Russian logistics hubs, command posts, ammo dumps way behind the front lines. It really messes with Russia's ability to resupply and coordinate. So getting these through PURL directly addresses some of Ukraine's most urgent strategic needs.
Yeah, that really highlights the immediate military impact. Okay, but let's shift gears a bit because this other part is equally fascinating. This other major financial initiative focusing on Ukraine's long-term economic future, specifically its mineral sector.
Tell us about this U.S.-Ukraine Mineral Fund. This sounds like it's looking way beyond just the current fighting. It absolutely is. And it does raise an important point about this dual strategy we mentioned, immediate military help, alongside a vision for, future economic strength. This new U.S.-Ukraine fund is specifically designed to attract investment, to really kickstart things in Ukraine's mineral sector, which is potentially very rich. It's launching with a pretty significant $150 million in seed capital.
Okay, $150 million to start.
Yeah, and the U.S. International Development Finance Corporation, the DFC, is putting in $75 million, and Ukraine is matching that dollar for dollar. So this isn't just about, rebuilding after the war eventually. It's about reshaping Ukraine's economy, maybe even starting now.
$150 million seed capital is a strong signal. What are the initial priorities? Where's this investment going first? And, what minerals are we actually talking about here?
Right. So, Ukrainian Prime Minister Yulia Sviridenko has laid it out. The fund will initially target energy projects infrastructure, and notably, critical mineral projects. The goal is ambitious. Finance at least 3 big projects like these by the end of 2026. Now, critical minerals. Ukraine has these huge, largely untapped reserves of really sought-after stuff. We're talking lithium, titanium, rare earth
Like
elements.
the building blocks for modern tech.
Exactly. Minerals essential for everything from advanced military gear, electric car batteries, renewable energy tech, high-tech electronics, you name it. And for countries like the US, getting access to these resources, securing those supply chains, it's become a major issue of national security and economic competitiveness,
Hmm.
especially when you consider, global supply chain issues and how concentrated the market is for some of these minerals. So this isn't just rebuilding, it's strategically positioning Ukraine to be a really crucial player in that global critical mineral supply chain.
That puts a whole different perspective on it. This really does sound like more than just aid. It's a strategic partnership with potentially huge geopolitical implications.
Yeah.
You mentioned preferential access earlier. What does that actually mean in practice? And what are the wider impacts of this deal?
Yeah, that's a crucial detail. This US-Ukraine deal on the mineral sector, it was signed back in April.
Hmm.
And it does include language about the US getting preferential access to new Ukrainian mining projects. Now, in practical terms, well, that could mean a few things. Maybe US companies get first dibs on bidding for new mining licenses, or perhaps they get, more favorable terms compared to other international companies, maybe even exclusive rights to negotiate for certain resources.
Interesting.
Ukraine's economy minister, Alexei Sobolev, he described it as a beacon to attract more international support. He stressed that this initial seed money is enough to get significant investment rolling. Looking at the bigger picture, this deal explicitly links Ukraine's economic recovery directly to its defense needs and to U.S. resource security. The aim is to spur reconstruction, yes, but also enable continued U.S. military aid by providing strategic returns, and crucially, diversify global supply chains away from, existing dependencies. The ripple effects could hit global markets, maybe shift geopolitical alliances, and certainly build strong economic pies that could last long after this war.
So these financial commitments are clearly substantial, strategically layered, but of course all this is happening while the conflict is still very much ongoing. How do these aid efforts intersect with the actual war, and what's the latest on the diplomatic front? Any movement towards peace talks?
Well, despite all the support, the hard truth is an end to the war doesn't seem any closer, really. We've seen months of U.S.-led peace initiatives, but without major breakthroughs. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov recently repeated Russia's line that they're ready for talks, prefer a political and diplomatic solution. But, and this is the sticking point, Moscow keeps raising objections to key proposals, particularly around territory, and so negotiations just haven't gone anywhere meaningful. This diplomatic stalemate really underlines why the military and economic support we're discussing is so vital. Ukraine has to keep defending itself while those political avenues are blocked.
And the fighting itself continues with very real and tragic costs on the ground, right? What have we seen recently that shows this ongoing instability?
Yeah, the instability and the human cost are just stark. Very recently, there were Russian overnight aerial attacks. They caused significant disruption to Ukraine's railways and power grid, impacting civilians, impacting war logistics. And tragically, a Russian glide bomb hit a town in the southern Kherson region. The regional head, Alexander Prokudin, reported that attack wounded 3 women and a 3-year-old girl.
Oh, terrible.
It really is. These incidents just highlight the severe, immediate human toll of this unresolved conflict. It shows that even as international support flows in, the daily reality for so many Ukrainians is still one of relentless attacks and, frankly, immense suffering. It's a powerful reminder of why that military aid, like the Patriot systems we mentioned, is so desperately needed for protection right now. It's such a complex and, yes, often devastating picture. So wrapping this up, we've explored this clear 2-pronged strategy. Significant military funding through PURL to boost immediate defense, and then this strategic economic investment, particularly in critical minerals, to rebuild and secure Ukraine's future. It really shows a comprehensive approach tackling today's needs while also having a long-term vision.
Indeed. And this interwoven approach, balancing the immediate military needs with this deep economic partnership, especially around critical minerals, it does leave us with a big question, doesn't it? How will this preferential access to Ukraine's strategic resources ultimately shape things, not just on the battlefield, but Ukraine's whole role in the global economy and security picture for years to come? And, what might that mean for future alliances and those critical supply chains that so many countries, perhaps including your own, depend on? Something to think about. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us for this crucial discussion today. We really appreciate your time and participation. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Global War Watch Network for more analysis like this. You can also share your thoughts in the comment section below, and do join us on social media. All the links you need are provided right there in the description.